starting? I'll start.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's Mornings with Luann and Tim. Alex.
Hi.
Is today Tuesday?
Today is.
You have one more day and then you're off on holidays?
See you later, loser.
But a long day to start today. You got a 12-hour day because you have a show tonight.
12-hour shift too. I'm so excited.
What's your show this evening, Alex?
The Game Sports Show alongside Dave McKeag. 6:30 Tuesday on TV.
Be there.
And then uploaded the next day on YouTube.
Do you know in advance what you're talking about, or do you decide when Dave comes in?
Today we're going to be talking a little bit about the Blue Jays. They made some big trades ahead of the trade deadline.
I heard somebody's not going back to some team. Who was that?
That's very vague, Tim.
Somebody just said they're not going back.
Not going back.
Didn't you talk about it yesterday in the green room? Somebody said they're not going back. They're not showing up for. Oh, it's a Greyhound. There's a Greyhound who's not coming back, who will not be showing up.
Well, there's like a couple Greyhounds from last year's team that are too old now that are too old.
I don't know. I just saw something that said this Greyhound's not returning.
Oh, that's the wrong way.
You should look that up.
Yeah, okay.
I'd like to thank KC Security for being our sponsor for the show for the entire month. Let me just tell you a little bit about my friends at KC Security.
Well, please do.
Security guards and mobile patrol, alarm and incident response, loss prevention. I think loss prevention means like if you own a store, they'll do like the secret thing and they'll like, you know what I mean? What do you call those people?
Secret shoppers.
No,
I know.
That's not what a secret shopper is.
I know.
What do they call that? Undercover, I don't know.
Undercover detectives.
Yeah, like that. Custom Security Solutions. They were voted the best security company in Sault Ste. Marie. KC Security.
2 years in a row, I want to say.
But here's the coolest thing. I never thought about this.
Ooh.
Key holding service. Rather than giving your keys to your neighbor or your mother or your sister and then you lock yourself out of your house at 2 o'clock in the morning and you can't find a spare, you call KC Security 24/7. They could show up at your house and let you back in again.
That's amazing.
That's smart.
They do a lot of creative things. That little extra little.
Also, if there's somebody who has a price, they will beat that price by 5%.
Oh,
with proofs of
Tim, stop it!
I'm telling you, it's KC Security. Thanks for sponsoring our show. I have a sad story to start off the show.
No. Why?
On this day in history, in 1964 in Nevada, in the great state of Nevada,
rough time.
there was a tree. It had a name. This tree was so famous it had a name.
Okay.
Prometheus.
Wow, that is a powerful name.
There it is. Well, I think that's okay. That was the oldest known non-clonal organism. In other words, that was an original tree, right? They didn't clone it.
Okay.
I don't know what an original tree means, but I'm just talking through my hat.
Okay.
That tree was probably 4,862 years old. Could have been over 5,000 years old.
And someone just went
accidentally cut down by
accidentally
by a graduate student.
Why? What was he doing?
He was trying to research the Ice Age and he wanted to see inside the thing, and normally they would just take samples, but he cut the whole thing down. Can you imagine?
Did he know it? Like, imagine his face when he found out what he did.
Donald R. Curry.
Donald R. Curry.
What happened to his career? He was a graduate student.
Sick son of a gun.
He didn't know. How do you not know? You work in a park. You work for U.S. Forests. He was U.S. Forest Service personnel.
How has nobody ever been like, all right, so during your training, here's this super old famous tree. Just don't spill your coffee on it. Don't trip into it. And
people said that it was a unique looking tree, that there were no others like it. I mean, I saw that looked pretty unique to me, that picture.
Yeah, well, there was no way that was definitely the tree from.
Michael looked up Prometheus.
Yeah, but that was like a full color image.
Well, maybe somebody drew it because they felt sad. It was dead. A bristlecone pine. A Great Basin bristlecone pine.
A Great Basin bristlecone.
A Great Basin bristlecone pine. Bristlecone.
Bristlecone.
Listen, tell me a story. What do you got?
Alrighty.
Top that.
So, have you ever thought back at things you've thrown away and been like, man, like, I really wish I didn't throw that away? All the time. Do you have any examples?
No.
Just like old memories, maybe like stuff from your childhood. Have you ever thrown away $23,000 cash?
Just recently I paid off a credit card bill.
Right, but that's not throwing it away.
No.
This man had $23,000 of his life savings in a shoebox. Is that the best place to keep it? No, but to each and of their own. Northern California threw it away in the recycling bin. So they called the recycling center 200 miles away. Got it all back except for $320. It stayed in that shoebox for 200 miles.
Can you imagine?
To the recycling center, sorted through. People were like, yeah,
I
like
had such an anxiety attack. Oh, look at it. What they label. Oh my gosh.
And they said like, hey guys, like it's probably already gone. But
did he not trust banks? Was that his issue?
I have no idea. The story is very, very short. Literally, this is what it is. It's from Huffington Post though, so.
Wow.
But man, how do you just go, throw this out, I'll throw this garbage bag out, throw this shoebox out?
I just read about somebody else who had a shoebox who got in big trouble. She was a contestant on American Idol.
Ooh.
Her name escapes me right now. I have it written down somewhere. Barbarossa, like that, like a Barbarossa. Somebody.
Barbarossa.
She was found sitting in a park in Los Angeles with a shoebox full of heroin and cocaine she was dealing. She was an ex-American Idol. Ex-American Idol finalist.
Party time.
No. She was a dealer. She was a drug to her life went on the skids after American Idol. It's very sad.
Oh, that's much more sad. Yeah.
Okay, wait. You got me off track though.
What?
No, not.
Said to tell your
I
story.
know because I forgot I had a segue.
Okay.
So trees. Don't you think it's wrong when they cut down big trees in Sault Ste. Marie without permission? Like without. I mean, if a tree is a certain age. Mm-hmm. If it's not Manitoba maples, cut them down. I hate them. They're not a tree. They're a weed, and they spread like wildfire, and they ruin your neighborhood. I know firsthand. I didn't do it.
So tell me how you really feel about maple.
Manitoba maples, not regular maple, not like
okay.
maple tree. Okay. Anyway, I think like big, beautiful old trees, like the ones on Simpson Avenue and stuff. I don't think you should just be able to buy a house and cut a tree down if it's an old historic tree.
But if you bought the property, don't you feel?
I think if once a tree becomes a certain age, it should be protected. I do. I truly believe that.
Okay, I can see that. But I feel like if you buy the house, you should be able to do with whatever you want with it at the same time.
I don't know. I think there should be No, because certain houses have historical or heritage homes, and then you can't change the facade.
Yes. Okay.
So if you can't change the facade of an old house, how can you cut down a whole old tree?
You got me there, Tim. You win this one.
Speaking of homes in Sault Ste. Marie.
Speaking of homes in Sault Ste. Marie.
Now they changed the length of time you have to fix up a property.
Yes.
It used to be 81 to 82 days. Now it's 35 to 36 days. I don't know why they're just 35.
Why is that such
Why would you just say 35 or 36? Why 35 to 36?
Or 80 to 82?
I don't know. Anyway, that's the way that city does things. So now it's 35. But, Alex,
Tim,
you drive around this city.
I've driven a couple times.
You've seen the homes. You know the properties that are dilapidated, right? So some of them don't get paid. They go up for tax sale.
Yes.
See, and the city can then sell off the buildings, and then they have to be torn down at whatever's expense. The city has a really cool thing though now, because the city takes possession of the building. They made a deal. I didn't know this.
Okay.
With the SSMD-SSAB. That's the Sault Ste. Marie District Social Services Administration Board, I think.
You are so good with your acronym.
I know. So they can actually sell a dilapidated building and a derelict property and an unpaid tax property to social services for $1 if they're interested in the property before they put it up for tender. Isn't that smart? Because then if they figure they can take the house and use it for housing purposes, isn't that clever? I think that's great. However, if it does go to tender, there are these landlords who will buy these properties on tax sales and then just do nothing with them, and they get worse and worse and worse. And Christian Provenzano's like, is there no way we can stop these guys from rebuying these properties after they've lost one to a tax sale because it's not taken care of? Can we stop them?
Can we?
No, we can't, Shelley. Shell says no. He says it's a terrible cycle. I think we need to look into this, people.
Look at that.
Our time is up. We've got so much more to talk about.
Well,
Little Caesars, I'm confused. Why does it say that Shogun is opening? There's a sign that said Little Caesars and then Swiss Chalet. Do you know?
I don't know.
Well, you're a reporter. Can you please find out?
I'm going. I'm going right now.
Okay,
I'll be back. I have to go find out.
No, stay. And then, wait until we go to commercial break.
I thought we were going to commercial break.
We are, and then we're coming back with interviews. Madame Butterfly, Madama Butterfly, in Italian with subtitles, opens in Sioux, Michigan at the beautiful Sioux Theater downtown on Ashman Street. It's historic. It's a wild place. If you haven't been, go. And we have the interview with the cast and the director and some other people, plus paddles and pints. Sault Ste. Marie, what's it called? No, the Lake Superior Watershed Conservation. They're here. We'll be back with more on Mornings with Luann and Tim right after this.
Coming to get you, Barbara.
Listen to them. Children of the night.
Welcome to the Machine Shop, our historic venue and gathering place for friends and family. Built in 1899 on the site of a Northwest Company trading post. Today we are a go-to venue hosting many expos, concerts, weddings, and more. While you're here, choose one of our dining experiences. Enjoy a quiet dinner at the Mill Steakhouse and Wine Bar, watch a game and try wood fire oven pizza and local draft at the Boiler Room, or treat yourself every day to gelato and local coffee at the Gelato Mill. For more information on the Machine Shop, visit machineshopinc.ca.
I am joined now on stage at Sioux Theatre by John Nardolillo. Did I say that right, John?
You did.
Nice job, eh? Italian?
It's an Italian name, yeah.
Yeah, I figured as much. Doing an Italian opera.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so you hail from where, John?
I'm the orchestra director at the University of Kentucky in Lexington, Kentucky.
Wild. So what's the connection between you and Sioux Theatre Projects and this production of Madama Butterfly?
Well, a colleague of mine from the university who runs the opera program works at the Bayview Festival, which is also up here.
Okay.
And so he got connected with Karen Beekman that way.
Right. So have you worked on Madame Butterfly before in your repertoire?
Yes, I've done Madame Butterfly several times.
Have you? Okay. What's the experience been like coming up here to the UP and hanging out with the folks in Sioux, Michigan?
Well, it's beautiful up here, and the place is full of nice people, and this is a fantastic company that's doing an amazing production.
One of the things that I think is so fantastic about Sioux Theatre Projects and what they do up here is the fact that they bring in people like you and other professionals to work with locals. We were just chatting with a young girl, 12 years old, who's done now 5 or 6 operas at the age of 12. The opportunity to work with the professionals like yourself is pretty unique. Do you think that is true?
I do think it's true.
Yeah.
I think that it's a great project, and it's a project, built by the people who live here. And
now, if I'm not mistaken, some of the professional opera artists, singers, actors that come up here also conduct classes, workshops, and that sort of thing with them. Do you do any kind of workshops as a conductor? Or?
Well, my main work is, preparing the orchestra and then working with the singers, both musically and in staging rehearsals, and working with the kids in the chorus. And
what is the cast size of the show? Do you have an idea? I'm not quite sure. Is it 25 to 30 or something like that?
Yeah, I would say so, at least. Mm-hmm.
And what kind of hours do you look at then when you're up here rehearsing and preparing? How long a day are you putting in?
It's a long day. Yesterday we had 2 staging rehearsals and then an orchestra rehearsal, so it was about 9 hours of rehearsing.
And for the performers, for the local performers, this is all volunteer, right? They're all learning and growing together, but this is all out of passion for the arts, right?
It's definitely all passion for the arts and the chance to do this incredible, beautiful work of art, Madama Butterfly.
Is this Puccini?
This is Puccini. Yeah.
That was a good guess on my part.
Yeah, it's one of the great operas of all time, and it's an extraordinary, beautiful, moving work of the theater, but also some of the most beautiful music ever written.
Right, right. And now, what about this venue? Were you shocked when you came in here and saw the really unique performance space?
I love this venue. It's very atmospheric and charming, and it has real interesting flavor, and I quite like it.
Have you had a chance to hear your musicians play in this space yet?
Not yet. We'll hear that shortly.
I think, from my experience being here, I think you're going to be quite happy because this building, of course, as you know, was built 1930-ish for live music in a pit, so it lends itself well to the acoustics.
Well, I can tell from the shape of the theater that it's going to sound great in here.
It is going to sound great, and so I'm looking forward to seeing it. So thank you for your time.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
John, okay, break a baton.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We'll be back with more from Madame Butterfly after this. Well, Isla Bolio, I was just chatting with the conductor, John, and I mentioned you in my interview with him, so I thought we should chat. Tell me again how old you are.
12.
12 years old, and how many operas have you performed in, including Madama Butterfly?
6.
6 operas. How many languages have you sung in now?
3.
Tell me the languages.
English, French, and Italian.
This is your first time singing in Italian?
Yeah.
Who teaches you the Italian?
Our director, Tim.
Not this Tim. Another Tim. An American Tim. He's the director of the show, and he also teaches you the language. And then the music is taught to you by?
Tim.
Tim does an awful lot around here, doesn't he? So what do you think about, one of the greatest things about being involved in Sioux Theater projects for a young lady like you?
They make it fun for other kids, and it's really nice people here.
Nice people. And do you learn a lot about acting, singing, dancing when you do these shows?
Yeah.
Do you take classes here at the school? It's called STARS, isn't it? The academy. Do you take classes?
Yeah, I take violin lessons and I take voice lessons.
Violin, voice. She sings in 3 languages. She's done 6 operas, but just 6 operas is not even. It's just the tip of the iceberg for you. You also perform where?
At my school.
And you've done other shows here besides the operas too, right?
Yes.
Like what shows have you done that weren't operas here at Sioux Theater Projects?
I've done Annie, Lion King, Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, and this year we did Aladdin.
You're too. Oh, just got see. You impressed everybody so much the lights went out. Yeah, that is incredible. What an experience you already have at your age. Is this something you want to keep on doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. How are you going to do that?
Probably go to college for musical theater or something.
Yeah, and then we're going to watch you on Broadway one day?
Yeah.
Okay, don't forget me.
Okay.
Okay. We'll be back with more after this. I am joined now, once again, on stage at the historic Sioux Theater in downtown Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, on Ashman Street. You're getting ready to open your show, Tim Schmidt. This is, well, the man of many hats. Tim Schmidt is the stage director for the show. Riley Nelson, local Sault Ste. Marie girl, made good, came home for a visit to perform in the show. Pardon me, Riley, I'm going to start with Tim. You go right ahead. Tell me how this connection happened, starting with last year, if you don't mind. Tim, where you hail from, the background, blah.
I currently live in southeast Missouri, a couple hours south of St. Louis, and I was friends with Chris Hollingsworth, who has done many shows here.
He has, and I think I interviewed Chris last year for Secret Garden, if I'm not mistaken. Go on.
Yes, very, very, very likely. And so they needed a baritone for one of the roles in Secret Garden last year.
The mean uncle.
Yes. I was the evil Dr. Craven.
Yes.
So I came up and met Karen and the whole cast and crew and all that through that, and had a joyous time.
Isn't it great?
It is wonderful here, and was invited back this year. And again, man of many hats. So I helped prepare the chorus on the front end of things.
Isla told me that you did some of that stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm singing 2 small roles. An uncle in the first act.
Why are you always the uncle?
That's what bass baritones do.
Okay.
And then a prince in the second act, who is another suitor of Butterfly.
Yeah.
And then I'm also stage directing.
Well, that's wild. But it is really a unique environment here, you have to admit, right?
Yes, it's a wonderful place. And I love doing theater in this kind of environment. You know, you have everything from the true beginners to seasoned professionals.
Seasoned professionals like Isla.
Exactly. She's been around for so many shows and doing a wonderful job.
But you're right. You get the whole gamut, and the professionals get a chance to mentor the youth and not just the youth, but all of the locals who perform, right?
Absolutely.
Speaking of professionals who mentor, Riley Nelson, that'd be you, my dear. Welcome home.
Thank you.
From where this time? Where were you just working?
So in the month of June, I was in Cincinnati, Ohio, singing with the Cincinnati Opera in the role of Stefano in Romeo and Juliet.
Stefano, that sounds like a guy's name.
It is. So for mezzo-sopranos, which was my voice type, our voices sit a little lower than a soprano voice. So often we play the parts of little boys. They call them pants roles. Pants. So I was probably in this role about the 12, 13, Romeo's sidekick. So just stirring up trouble, getting in sword fights and all that stuff. I had a wonderful time.
Speaking of sword fights, I just saw on the thing this summer for what this theater did, they did a thing in stage combat. Mm-hmm. They brought a professional guy up to teach stage combat.
They do everything here.
I know they do. You should see the summer program here at the Sioux Theater Projects in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, Ashford Street, downtown. Anyway, so who are you in this Madama Butterfly? We're sitting on the set, by the way. This is like, do geishas live here?
Yes. So always another role that mezzos often play is the sidekick. Mm-hmm. And this time I'm a girl, but my
congratulations.
Thank you. My character's name is Suzuki. So I am Butterfly's, probably was her nanny when she was growing up, and now am her maid and her servant, but also her closest friend and confidant. So there's a hierarchy there, and it's very respectful, but I also voice my opinion every once in a while. So
what kind of a sing is it for you? Is it a big sing? Or do you have a couple featured things? What goes on?
Yeah, a couple of featured
Duets
things.
Or stuff?
I have a trio, and I have a couple like climactic lines. I don't have an aria, but we'll have to talk to Puccini about that. Yeah, well, this is Puccini. I don't know how much he loved mezzos, but this is the one mezzo role, or one of the only mezzo roles.
How cool is it to come home to Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, be able to come across the river and do this kind of stuff?
I mean, I'm so grateful. I didn't know that I'd ever be able to do this at home, so I'm very excited.
I know. We love Sioux Theater Projects. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to talk to Karen, the director. What are you? The producer. Who are you? The artistic director. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I'm bringing Karen on camera next, so stay tuned. Okay, more fun times at Sioux Theater Projects with my friend Karen Beacom. Karen Hughes Beacom, harpist, coloratura. Are you a coloratura?
No, I do a little bit, but
you do some major
lyric
ones.
soprano.
Lyric soprano, artistic director of what do you call yourself?
Artistic director of the Sioux Theater Project and the founder of the Sioux Opera.
Speaking of opera, the role of Madame Butterfly. What the heck? That's a heck of a sing, my dear.
It is a heck of a sing.
Have you done this before?
I sang it 21 years ago in a concert version in a basement of a church in New York City, right before I moved away. Yes, so I've never had the role memorized until now, tomorrow, Friday.
Yeah, because you open on, okay, give me the show dates.
We open on Wednesday, August 7th at 7:30 p.m. and we have our second show on Friday, August 9th at 7:30.
It's pretty standard for operas. They don't perform every night because it's just too much vocally. I mean, it's exhausting to sing for 2 hours, right? Yeah. Highlights of this show, some of the favorite things that have happened. Okay, go.
Oh, well, of the show itself, Un Bel Dia is the famous soprano aria from Madame Butterfly, where she says she will wait for her lieutenant to come back. It's so gorgeous. The duet between Pinkerton and Butterfly.
Who's your Pinkerton?
Chauncey Packer, tenor, amazing.
From where?
He's from Louisiana or Alabama, the South. He lived in New Orleans for 18 years, so I'm confusing that. Okay. He lived in New Orleans for 18 years. But
you bring people in from all over the place.
Yeah, and Chauncey was here for La Boheme, if anybody caught the Puccini we did in 2012. So we just were waiting for our opportunity to sing Puccini again together.
Oh,
I was waiting for the opportunity.
And I met your conductor, his first time up here, right? How did you met him through who?
Through Ever McCorvey, and John is the director. You probably got this, UK orchestras.
Like, no kidding.
Yeah, amazing.
So here we are, little Upper Peninsula, Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, and they are working with world-class talent, Karen.
You bet.
You've done it.
Well,
congratulations. Okay, so tickets are available where, how? Tell me.
Sioux Theater, www.sotheatre.org. At our box office, 906-632-1930.
Okay.
And you can come into our office, downtown Ashman Street.
Okay, so we're at the door of it as well?
Absolutely.
And this is a large. How many seats do you have in this theater?
We have over 700 seats, so
Right.
we will have don't be afraid to come without a ticket. Please come.
Please come, and it's not expensive.
No, we try to keep our ticket prices low. We encourage people to buy a premium ticket. You get your choice of a seat for $50, but our general admission is $22.
Oh, come on.
And our students are $10.
Oh, come on.
I know.
That's fat. Listen, and it's like we're talking first-rate voices, like seriously, people. And the score.
Oh, it's just the most gorgeous thing.
Okay, so they're watching this on Tuesday morning. We're airing it, so you have a chance to get your tickets today and tomorrow, and the show's again on Thursday, right?
Wednesday and Friday.
The show's on Wednesday and Friday. Pay no attention to the man behind the microphone. Karen, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for coming.
I know you have a rehearsal to get to now. I'm going to get off your stage.
Okay. Thanks, Tim.
Come and see Sioux Theatre Project's Madama Butterfly, starring her and a whole bunch of other fabulous people, and Isla.
At 4:45, discover all kinds of treasures and never pay more than $5. Inventory is restocked every Saturday, and you can find anything from electronics to household items, toys, and much, much more. On Saturday, everything is $5, and the price goes down throughout the week, ending with 25 cents on Friday. We restock weekly with new items from various big box stores, so you never know what treasures you can find. Come visit us at 4:45, 2510 Ashman Street in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan.
Have a great business idea but don't know where to start? Need help taking your business to the next level? C2C Business Services can be your guide in navigating the path of entrepreneurship, with services ranging from grant funding support, access to service experts, market information, and helping your business adopt new technologies to create and foster a culture of innovation for ongoing success. Call C2C Business Services and let them be your first step in taking your entrepreneurial dreams from concept to commerce. C2C Business Services is a division of the Sault Ste. Marie Innovation Center.
Oh, those voices. Oh my gosh.
To hear from the other room.
Seriously. Kevin and I were watching that interview. I don't know why I was watching the interviews that I pre-taped.
I thought you were watching my stuff.
No, I was watching I was watching your stuff. Anyway, speaking of singers, sad news, Alex.
Don't do it to me, Tim.
I'm sorry. Olivia Newton-John. Her cancer is back. Olivia Newton-John originally got breast cancer. She was diagnosed in 1992. She beat it. 20 years later, in 2013, her breast cancer came back. She beat it again. It's back again. It's metastasized at stage 4. She doesn't want to know how long she has to live because she says she thinks sometimes if someone's told they have 6 months to live, that if it's in their brain, it's in their body. So she said she doesn't want to know that every day is a gift. And so we send, you know, seriously, in my life, Olivia Newton-John, Grease. I mean, the whole 80s workout thing. She's been around for my whole life. She's 70 years old now. She's still beautiful, and she's an inspiration.
What a good mindset, I think, right? To be able to be faced with death almost, to be, you know, for lack of a better term.
Just to say, I know I don't want to know. You know what? I'm just going to live every day, and when it happens, and every day is a gift. Yep, cancer's a freaking cancer. Although the good news is that Donald Trump says he will cure childhood cancer if he's reelected. So don't forget that.
Send in your votes now.
Can you give me some good news, please?
Alrighty. Well, I know you're not a big fan of candy anyway.
Not hard. I don't like hard candy. That's all.
This is kind of cool. Skittles is making a new brand. I mean, I don't know why when August hits, everyone just goes immediate Halloween mode. Full.
True, they do.
Right? Nuts. So Halloween, not Halloween. Skittles is making a Halloween themed candy.
They're announcing it already.
Yes, they have 5 fruit flavored. Plus 1 other flavored called Rotten Zombie.
But look at there it is. Beware. Zombie Skittles.
So I assume that it'll be the same color as the others, but it'll be like a Russian roulette kind of thing where you don't know. Kind of if you've ever had the Jelly Bellies where they have 2 of the same color. One's really good and one's like one.
What's it going to taste like, Alex?
rotten zombie, whatever that.
What's a rotten zombie taste like?
I can only imagine probably something like lobster. No, definitely not. It's definitely going to taste disgusting, and that's kind of the joy you get from it.
Lobster Skittles.
You asked. I don't know.
I gotta try them. When are they coming out? Do they know?
No, I think they just released them, but they'll probably come out in the next month or so. Mars just announced that they're going to do it.
You just cheered me up. Thank you.
I did it.
You have the news coming up, right?
Yeah, I know, but lately the news has been all sad stuff lately too.
Do you have any good news for us in the broadcast? Just say yes.
Yes, guys, stay tuned for some uplifting news. Mornings with Luann and Tim right after this. Four people are dead and another 12 others injured after a small car got stuck underneath a semi-trailer, causing a major accident Monday afternoon on Highway 440 in Laval, Quebec. After the car and semi-trailer struck each other, they collided with another truck, said Christian Grand Mason of the Laval Fire Department. That started a chain reaction that eventually involved another 6 vehicles. One of these also got stuck underneath the semi-trailer. Provincial police had initially said only 3 vehicles were involved in the crash, and the collision ignited a large fire, and smoke could be seen from several kilometers away, resulting in 3 people being pronounced dead at the scene, and a 4th body was found in the wreckage Monday evening. 12 others were taken to hospital, including some first responders, with 3 of those that are in critical condition. First responders discovered about 10 small canisters of propane inside one of the trucks, along with household items. Grand Mason said the propane may have triggered a minor explosion while the other truck was transporting vegetables. The fire broke out at around 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Monday near Industrial Boulevard. Firefighters had the blaze under control by 5 p.m., and Highway 440 is an east to west route that runs between highways 13 and 25. The highway reopened to traffic at around 5 a.m. Tuesday.
People that have been hit by bullets, and out of the 11 occurrences, 4 have had either 2 or more people that have been victims, and 33% of these shootings that have occurred in the northwest end of the city.
Toronto Police Chief Mark Saunders said a nightclub shooting that left 5 people injured early Monday is, quote, very bothersome, but also very solvable. During a news conference following a violent Simcoe Day weekend in the city, Saunders said that from Saturday to Monday, police were called to 11 separate firearm incidents. Shortly before 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday, police responded to a 12th gun-related incident in the Lawrence Heights area just south of the Yorkdale shopping mall. One man was taken to hospital with gunshot injuries, which Toronto police and paramedics say were serious but non-life-threatening. A second victim made it to the hospital on their own, police said. Several hours later, police said multiple gunshots were heard in an area in the city's northwest. Police located 1 victim suffering from gunshot wounds, and the victim's injuries are not believed to be life-threatening. A total of 16 people were left with gunshot wounds over the long weekend, and 33% of those incidents happened in the northwest end of the city, Saunders added. North Korea on Tuesday continued to ramp up its weapons demonstrations by firing unidentified projectiles twice into the sea while lashing out at the United States and South Korea for continuing their joint military exercises that the North says could derail fragile nuclear diplomacy. South Korea's military alerted reporters of the launches minutes before an unidentified spokesperson of the North's foreign ministry released a statement denouncing Washington and Seoul over the start of their joint exercises Monday. The statement said the drills, which North Korea sees as an invasion rehearsal, leave the country compelled to develop, test, and deploy the powerful physical means essential for national defense. The North spokesperson said Pyongyang remains committed to dialogue, but it could seek a new road if the allies don't change their positions. Two countries issued travel warnings to their citizens about the United States following two mass shootings that killed 31 people. Both Venezuela and Uruguay warned their residents about violence and hate crimes in the United States Monday. Uruguay's Office of Foreign Ministry issued an advisory Monday saying citizens should, quote, take precaution amid the growing indiscriminatory violence, specifically hate crimes including racism and discrimination, when traveling to the United States. The alert noted the other factors, such as the indiscriminate possession of firearms by the population and the impossibility of authorities to prevent these situations, were among some of the reasons travelers need to be particularly wary of highly populated areas or events. Uruguay's warning also suggested avoiding the cities of Detroit, Baltimore, and Albuquerque, as they were listed as part of the 20 most dangerous cities in the world, according to the CEO World Magazine 2019 Index. Venezuela's Foreign Ministry office also issued a warning to residents Monday, saying Venezuelans should postpone their travels or exercise caution when traveling as a result of the events in El Paso, Texas, and Dayton, Ohio. The statement posted by the Foreign Ministry said that the recent proliferation of violent acts and hate crimes needs to be considered by those planning to travel into the U.S. In April, the U.S. State Department gave Venezuela its highest travel advisory, Level 4, Do Not Travel, citing crime, civil unrest, and the arbitrary arrest and detention of U.S. citizens. Hong Kong protesters held an inaugural People's Press Conference on Tuesday to condemn what they called the government's empty rhetoric and instances of alleged police abuse. Three protesters who spoke to reporters said the briefing was intended to counter the regular government and police news conferences in which authorities have repeatedly decried violent acts by some pro-democracy demonstrators. Some officers have shown total lack of self-discipline, said an activist using the pseudonym Jerry Chan, as many rally participants have chosen to hide their identities because they fear official retribution. Hong Kong has seen a string of demonstrations that began in June against proposed extradition legislation that would have allowed some criminal suspects to be sent to mainland China to stand trial. While the government has since suspended this bill, protesters have pressed on with broader calls for democratic reforms, an investigation into the police brutality allegations, and for the city's leader to step down.
Recently, the Government of Ontario established a $100 million affordability fund to help Ontarians who don't qualify for low-income conservation programs ease the burden of their electricity bill. Whether you rent or own your home, as long as you pay your electric bill, you could qualify. There are 3 levels of support available. The first is a home energy kit with upgrades like smart power bars and LED light bulbs. The second includes Energy Star appliances that help keep things cool during the hot summer months. The third is for electrically heated homes so that your power bills don't break the bank during those long Canadian winters. Plus, all upgrades, including installation, are completely free of charge. Visit affordabilityfund.org or call 1-855-494-FUND to find out if you qualify.
When you support the Restore, it helps Habitat for Humanity build affordable housing for families. How does this work? New and gently used goods are donated to the Restore. The sale of these goods generate funds for building homes. For every $1 spent at the Restore, there is a $4 return on investment within our community. For example, Habitat homeowners have better educational outlook, increased employment stability, improved health, and reduction in the use of social services. Every donation and every dollar we receive through the Restore helps build sustainable housing for future homeowners. Everyone needs a foundation to build a future. To find out more and how you can help, drop by the Restore at 32 White Oak Drive or go to habitatzoo.ca.
This sure looks pretty stupid, doesn't it? Dangerous even. But lightning kills like 3 people a year in all of Ontario. That's nowhere close. That's nowhere close to the 16,000 that smoking kills. So, what's more stupid?
Once again, we want to thank KC Security for being our sponsor this month on Mornings with Luann and Tim, with Alex Parr filling in for Lou. Luann will be back on Monday next week.
Yes.
And in the meantime, on Thursday and Friday, my guest host will be Christina Coutu. What do you got for me? You got some specialty days of the year? Normally I do this, but I'm going to let you go.
So,
I didn't even look.
How do you plan on celebrating National Root Beer Day? National Root Beer Day.
I might go to A&W and have a root beer because A&W is famous for their root beer.
How about National...
Although, wait a minute, doesn't somebody else make root beer? I think somebody local makes root beer. I should look into that.
That's thinking.
Okay.
How about National Wiggle Your Toes Day?
That's just stupid.
Yeah, you hated that one this morning.
I just did that and I'm done. Okay, I wiggled my toes. Are you happy? What's next?
National...
While I have the root beer, I'll wiggle my toes.
In the root beer.
Wiggle your toes in the root beer. You're disgusting.
Yep.
Okay, with my lobster Skittles, go.
Oh.
What's next? Is there another one? Do I have another one?
National Night Out Day, which I find kind of contradicts itself.
It's a day, but it's a night.
Yeah, how do you have a night out during
What is
the
it?
day?
All night out? Did you look it up?
It just says National Night Out Day.
You didn't do any research? You just read the thing? Doesn't it give you a blurb about what National Night Out Day is?
Not this website that I used.
You use a ridiculous website.
Well, all you had was Wiggle Your Toes there, so.
And which is why I chose not to bring it up. Okay.
And the final one, which we exposed you on earlier.
What?
National Fresh Breath Day, Mr. Coffee Breath.
I have Joni McGuffin on next, and I better not breathe on her because I do have coffee breath.
She's over there now. She's worried.
Joni, do you have Fresh Breath Day? Because it's National Fresh Breath Day.
National Fresh Breath Day.
Do you speak for a living?
No.
Good. We need to get some mints for our National Fresh Breath Day. Joni McGuffin is here, and she's talking about now canoes for conservation. Have you heard? Did you know?
Oh
that
yeah, I was there during their.
It's taken off. It's taken off. Listen, they're hooking up with the cruise ships. I know, but not just that. They got a whole other thing going on. It's called Paddles and Pints on Wednesday nights.
Paddles and
Well, I think originally it was paddle and pour, but then Marnie Stone said it wrong. She said Paddles and Pints, and Joni was like, "That's even better."
Paddles and Pints on Wednesday night.
Paddles and Pints on Wednesday nights. It's tied in with the Northern Superior Brewing.
So how do the cruise ships and the paddles?
Okay, so I'm going to let Joni tell that story.
Okay, well I'm just picturing right now like people canoeing and doing like manual labor, pulling a big cruise ship behind them, just like, oh yeah, we got you hooked up with the cruise ships, all right, and they're just.
They make all the tourists grab a paddle and paddle the cruise ship through the locks.
If you're coming through Canada, you're giving us something back, okay?
Oh, honestly, no. The cruise ships can now book as an excursion the canoeing.
Oh, what?
And the canoes are already off.
Let her tell her. Let her tell her. We only have 5 seconds, Tim. You said you're gonna let her do it. We'll be back. You're gonna learn more about this right after this.
I love women. I love older women, professional women, stay-at-home moms, I love how women put the family first. I love how you're so concerned that I'll get to your husband. You have no idea that I'm coming after you.
Make death wait. Please donate to fund life-giving research, because heart disease and stroke is the #1 killer of women.
What do you wish for? A nice life? Nice things? Or do you wish for something more? A sense of purpose? Do you wish to discover a cure? To write code that cracks an unsolvable question? To further our exploration into space? Or to invent something that changes everything right here on Earth? Well, if that's your wish, make yourself ready. Because when you look back, you'll see that you didn't just make wishes, you realized them.
What will your last 10 years look like? Will you be quick enough for a game of tag with your grandchild? Strong enough to embrace every moment? Will you grow old with vitality? Or get old with disease? It's time to decide. The average Canadian will spend their last 10 years in sickness. Change your future at makehealthlast.ca.
Head, shoulders, knees and toes. Eyes and ears and mouth and nose. Head, shoulders, knees and toes. Eyes and ears and mouth and nose. Head, shoulders, knees and toes.
As promised, joining me in the studio live, it's the effervescent and always energetic and lovely Joni McGuffin.
Thanks, Tim.
You're infectious. And that's a good thing. Joni, who came up with this brilliant idea? Paddles and Pints on Wednesday nights. Who? Come on.
Well, it's not our original idea, because you can actually, those Americans, you know,
did they come up with it?
Yeah, like down in Traverse City, you can actually paddle from pub to pub.
Oh, they do like a pub paddle.
Yeah, we have a little bit of a different situation here because with our rules around alcohol and boating.
Right.
And so
we're very responsible in Canada.
That's right.
We are. No, we got good rules.
And we also don't have a lot of, because there's some other breweries that we'd love to bring on board. We need a way to reach them from the waterfront.
From the waterfront, right.
So we're trying this as part of our pilot project for Canoes for Conservation this year.
Canoes for Conservation, by the way, has taken off. It's done great.
Yeah.
It's coming back. The pilot project, it's coming back. Next year.
Definitely. We've got it. It's our land trust, the Lake Superior Watershed Conservancy, wants to get people on the water, seeing this city and seeing our lakes from the water, from an ecological, cultural, historical. There's so many stories to tell. Every trip that goes out, we learn new things, people learn new things, and everybody's excited to...
Before we get to Paddles and Pints, tell me a little bit. I was telling Alex about how you managed to, you've connected with the cruise ships.
Yes.
It's happening already in October. You did it. You
Bruce
got
down in Manitoulin, he helps organize, or he does organize the tours that they do up through the Great Lakes. And we met with him in March, and he said they've already got their agendas for these cruise ships.
It's true. They do these tours tourists are serious. They sign
come
up.
off that thing yesterday when we were set up. They got their red card, their blue card, and the buses are all lined up.
Yeah.
So we're going to do our first pilot project with them in October at Richards Landing. So Algoma Trad are involved, and there's
so they're going to have there'll be music, entertainment.
So people will get off the ship, and then one of the things, we've already got 88 people that are signed up to do this. We can take up to 22 people. We've got 2 canoes. One takes up to 14 people, our 36-footer, and the 26-footer takes up to 8 people. So we can get a fairly good group on the water, and then we'll do an hour-long tour with them at Richards Landing. But it's a perfect thing. You go from the ship, and you get down on the water in a more intimate way, and they already appreciate being on the water. So,
and it's as you say, it's a cultural and historical thing. I mean, this was the mode of transportation on these waters. And are there the same canoes you use here that I paddled in?
Yes, very much so.
That day, that was still one of the highlights of my summer, Joni, was going out with you and Peter and Gary, your husband, and Mike in the boat. It was so much fun.
Yeah, and we had Shirley.
Shirley Horn, of course, joined us. Yes. So now, the same canoes, so you can handle how many people then? How many canoes will go on this venture for Paddles and Pints?
For Paddles and Pints, we'll take up to 14 people. Okay. So if people have a group of friends together, I know that's what Marnie said, I'm putting a group of women together and we're going to do this.
She'll probably get her 100 women who care, and they'll all go out together.
That's what I thought. It would be wonderful to promote that wonderful fundraising endeavor.
Fundraising, Joni, also workplace to take a staff out for an evening, friends, a birthday celebration, anything like that, right?
A family thing with a bunch of guys.
Okay, so we start where?
We start at Parks Canada, and we do a bit of interpretation at the locks, like our normal tours, and then we do interpretation of how to paddle. We do some paddle instruction, and we get people on at the Department of Fisheries and Oceans dock where they do the sea lamprey program. Yeah. And,
do you show them what I saw with the sea lamprey? I saw them at the dock. They told me all about the sea lamprey and how they catch them and all that stuff. Are they going to do that demonstration?
If they're there, we can do.
That's really cool.
We can never be sure quite if they're there or not. And then we get on the water and we do a lock tour. So we get to see, our amazing water elevators and the way the gates were built and the canal and the way the canal was built and what the islands looked like before the changes of the late 1800s, early 1900s. So we have all kinds of fun props on board. When we get around, I won't tell everybody what they are because I don't want to spoil the prop fun, but we do go right round to the rapids. You're right below the rapids.
That freaked me out when we did that. I couldn't believe the noise. I could not believe the noise.
Yeah.
So cool.
Well, it's only 5% of the waters that once flowed down the St. Mary's River, and 45% goes through, well, a little bit less than that, but goes through each of the power, our Cleur generating station, and then the Cloverland Electric on the other side. So
I learned all that. I learned all that from you.
We're such a small ship on the waterway when people are, and then they go down, and you'll often see ships going along. So
you can see
we're paddling along the waterfront, heading for the Bush Plane Museum.
So you arrive at the Bush Plane.
We arrive at the Bush Plane.
Disembark your canoes. By the way, these canoes, as long as you can handle a flight of stairs, a set of stairs, you can paddle. So if you're somebody like mobility issues, if you can do stairs, you can do the canoes.
You can do the canoe. We've had,
and not everybody has to paddle. That's also true. So if you have mobility issues and you can't, if you have anything with your arms or shoulders or back that you're not allowed, you can still get in the boat.
Yep. And we position people, so we always ask them, which side they want to be on.
So we arrive
at the Bush Plane Museum, and we go through the Bush Plane. So
we have the Bush Plane too.
Yeah, we have a special thing we arranged with the Bush Plane this year to be open in the evenings when we're doing a tour, so that we can have a little tour through the Bush Plane, and then we end up walking right into Northern Brewery and having a tour there from the Bush Plane.
Northern Brewery is located attached to the Bush Plane, down in that little sort of basement area.
That's right.
You get a tour of the brewery.
Get a tour of the brewery. Yeah, and then I know this is so fun.
Okay, do you see the paddle? It also looks a little bit like a fish.
Yes.
And it will hold A flight of draft from Northern Superior. Northern Superior Brewing.
Yeah.
Brewers.
Yeah.
Who made these?
My neighbor, Jeff Winger, has JW Woodworking, and his work is seen in a number of places around the area. And gorgeous. I know, it was so fun, and Gary helped him with the design of what it should look like, because we wanted them to look like paddles.
They look like paddles, and your draft goes in, your flight of draft. That is so clever.
Yeah.
So you get to sample the draft. Now,
then you'd even be able to, we're going to hopefully with Northern Brewery, we're going to put our brand on them, and then you'll actually be able to buy them if you want.
You can buy this. That's smart. JW is going to be making some nice
We
business.
hope.
Well, no, entrepreneurs, local. Come on,
we want to support everything local that we can, even the cedar, Gooley River cedar.
No kidding.
Yeah, isn't that fun?
I know this stuff. It's called the Tap Room, by the way. I didn't really. There you go. They have. Did you know that they do like entertainment too in the evenings? Like after 5 o'clock, they'll have like acoustic musicians, and you can go for local draft and hear music to live like.
We have some absolutely wonderful eating and music and places to drink and socialize. A lot more than people realize in the Sioux, and it's really growing. And
so Joni, now we got about a minute left. So I've had my flight of draft. Now I don't want to paddle back.
Well, around our boating and alcohol laws too, we want to be very, very safe with this. And so we've actually acquired a little electric motor that has actually has great horsepower. We took it into the rapids yesterday.
No kidding. So you
we took the big canoe, just Peter and I. We were going up the rapids to see how far we could get up those waters. It's pretty
strong.
Anyways, it takes people so all you have to do is board the boat, and then they can just sit back, relax, take some pictures, enjoy the ride from the bush plane right back up to Parks Canada, where you can
3 hours, all inclusive, $90. Come off it. That's amazing. Joni, how do we do this? Where do we find you?
Canoe, superiorconservancy.org is our website.
Okay.
But canoe at superiorconservancy.org will give you our email.
Okay.
But just, Google us.
Google them.
You'll find
we gotta go, Joni.
Canoes for Conservation.
Canoes for Conservation. Paddles and Pints on Wednesday nights. Northern Superior Brewing. Joni McGuffin, thank you so much. Give our best to Gary. We'll be back to say goodbye with Alex right after this.
Hi, can I take your order? Hello?
Oh, hey. Wait, what was the question?
Let me guess. One driving high combo, extra baked?
No. Could I get a burger with a side of fries?
Think you're a better driver when you're high? Think again. If you've smoked weed, wait at least 4 hours before getting behind the wheel, or don't drive at all if you're new to it, have eaten it, or if you've mixed it with alcohol.
I need to find home care for my dad. My husband can't find a job. Our fights hurt the kids. When you don't know where to turn to 211, the helpline to community and social services in 150 languages. 211 is free, confidential, 24/7, and answered by friendly specialists. Dial 211 or search 211ontario.ca. 211 helps people find the right community and social services. 211, when you don't know where to turn. Supported by United Way, your local community, and the governments of Ontario and Canada.
Shoulders, knees and toes, eyes and ears and mouth and nose, head, shoulders, knees and toes, eyes and ears and mouth and nose, head, shoulders, knees and toes.
Welcome back to Mornings with Luann and Tim. Alex Parr, thank you so much for being my co-host so far. Tomorrow's our last day.
Tomorrow's the last one.
But then I go on vacation the end of August and September. You're back again with Luann.
Who do you like better, me or Lou? Putting you on the spot.
So tomorrow's show is based on the Fringe Festival, Fringe North International Theatre Festival.
Looks like you need me, Tim.
We'll see you tomorrow on Wednesday on Mornings with Luann and Tim and Alex. Can we do